It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome, welcome. It's the Jill on Money show where we are trying to make sense of all of the crazy headlines out there and apply it to you and your finances. If you've got a question, just go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us on the air live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, don't forget to subscribe to our weekly email. It comes out Fridays. This will also entitle you to our blog posts as well. Okay, let's get the party started. We are going to talk to Sonia and Michael from Denver, Colorado. Hello, Sonia and Michael. What's going on?
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. What's up?
We would just like to know if we're in our current financial situation, it's an option for us to be financially independent, basically be work optional. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be great to get your guys' input on that. And that's basically.
Okay, wait a second. So you want to just, you're done. Are you fried? Are you happy? Are you like, where are you in the life cycle? How old are you? What's going on?
So I must say that I'm not sure we're on the same page with my husband, and I think that's the main reason why we are calling you also. Mm-hmm. Michael thinks we are ready to retire. I'm not 100% confident that we can, and that's the main reason why we're calling you.
Well, then that's good because I can also be a marriage counselor as well as, okay. Sonia, how old are you?
I'm 49.
Oh, you're young. Okay. And Michael, how old are you?
54 and a half.
Okay. The halves, boy. Here we go. You guys are both working full time?
Yes.
Yep.
Sonia, how much do you earn?
Around 100K.
Do you use a retirement plan through work?
Yes, we do. Both of us.
Okay. All right. How much are you contributing right now into retirement, Sonia?
The maximum amount in my 401k, and also I do a backdoor IRA, also the max amount.
Okay, great. So you're saving a lot of money. So you're doing a backdoor Roth. How much money's in your Roth and how much is in traditional?
As a family or?
Doesn't matter. However you guys want to tell me. If you have the total, give me the total. Okay. Otherwise, you can bang it out.
Sure. It's tax-free is a little more than $600,000 in Roth 401k and Roth IRAs, and then around $26,000 in HSAs.
Okay. What about traditional?
Tax deferred, let's see. So 1.2 million roughly, a little more. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's 401ks and IRAs combined.
Okay. You guys have kids?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah. How old are they?
One is a freshman in college. The other one is 16, so junior high school.
Oh, God. You're in it. What about saving for college? Had you have some money set aside for that?
Yeah, we have 529s fully funded for 4 years of in-state college.
Oh gosh, you're good. Okay, so that gives you a lot of comfort there. Okay, a lot of money saved already for retirement. Any money in brokerage accounts?
Yeah, so we have in after-tax accounts roughly 1.9 million. Mm-hmm. So that's like 1.2 roughly in a joint brokerage. Then we have a little more than 200,000 in money markets, just cash, basically. Mm-hmm. Other cash, just checking and so on, around 35,000. Then I work in big tech, and I get like RSUs and basically a stock plan. We have around 400, like, depending on what time of the day you look, it's around 450,000.
Okay, got it. Okay, and your home, you own a home, correct?
Yeah, we do. No mortgages. We have 900,000 roughly is what our home is worth right now, and we also have a rental if that's important.
Yeah,
that's also paid off. So
how much is that worth, and how much cash flow does it generate?
So it's 500,000 roughly, and like gross year 35,000.
What about net? Let's do net.
So net, I will say every month we have about between 1,500 and 2,000
Okay.
remaining after all the.
Okay. Yeah, all the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the most important question that I like to ask, which is how much do you spend?
We spend around $9,000 a month.
Yeah, 100,
That includes everything,
yeah,
like
108, 110. That includes tax, like real estate tax and stuff.
travels, everything. 9,000, about 9,000 a
Yeah.
month.
If you were both to quit, what about health care? Would you just pay for that? Should we just add another $1,000 a month into your spend if you were to both call it quits?
I would say that's probably too low because we still have to take care of our kids,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I forgot about them. I'm just
So
kidding.
I would say,
Let's
like,
say 11.
basically what I'm guessing, and I don't know, depending on how we can manage income, but worst case we're thinking about 30,000 a year.
So let's say 12 grand a month, let's call it. Okay. Then instead of 9. Is it the case, though, just so I get this straight, because it sounds like Michael's like, yeah, let's quit. Sonia, do you want to keep working? Because obviously, if you were to work, at least even for some period of time, we could kind of get the health care paid for, right?
Yes.
It's a bit of contention here.
Why? 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 Because you're like, why should I work if you're not going to? You so and so.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
I understand that. I understand it.
to work.
But do you like working, Sonia?
yes, I do, but I don't want to work full time if Michael is not going to be working. And if he doesn't work, we'll most likely travel a little bit.
Not while you have a high school junior or senior.
Yeah, we forgot to mention we don't want to retire tomorrow, obviously. So we're thinking about, or is thinking about in a year,
And
right?
well, at the latest, I think the main
Oh, you are fried, man. You are done. Is that it? That's what's happening. Wait, Michael, before you go on, what happens to your RSUs when you say, I'm out of here? How does a company treat those?
the amount I gave you is what's already vested.
Okay, sorry. Got it. All right. And no pensions available for you?
Yes.
Well, at 65, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
tell me about that. What's the pension amount?
So it's a little like we have some around, I want to say 1,300 combined per month, starting at various, like when we're all 67 or so on.
Okay.
It phases in, right?
Okay. Okay. Got it. So 67, $1,300 a month, plus there'll be some Social Security, but we got bigger fish to fry because we got a dozen years where you got to figure out how you're going to live, right?
Exactly.
Is there anything else that we should know about in terms of your balance sheet, in
Yeah.
terms of like anything else? Like, do you have to take care of parents? Or do you have rich parents who are going to leave you piles of money?
No, we don't
Neither.
have
Yeah.
rich parents, but I want to add that. So we calculated that in a year we should have an additional roughly $280,000. That's combined savings and what we put in our retirement accounts.
We'll get back to Sonia and Michael in just a second. If you've got a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we are trying to help you navigate your financial journey, wherever you are along that journey. If you've got a question, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, check the box. We'll do everything else. While you're on the website, you can check out all of the content that lives there. We've got podcasts, 2 of them. We've got a blog, we've got videos and resources, and you can buy my book, The Great Money Reset. That outlines 10 bold steps to turn the chaos of change into opportunity for you. Right now, let's get back to Sonia and Michael from Denver. let's just use 67. We can always wait till 70, but Social Security at 67, do you have that number?
Yes.
Sure. For me, it would be 3,300 if I worked until the end of the year. For Sonia, it would be 1,630 roughly.
Like $5,000 in Social Security, $1,300 a month. These are future dollars. So everyone listening, one of the things that's always challenging is we talk about things in the future. It's not like necessarily exactly where we are today. And what you're saying is that, you've got this, you'll probably have, let's just call it $2 million in brokerage, cash, RSUs, right? And is the game plan like, let's use that money, let's live on that money for some period of time, and then let's start pulling money out of our pre-tax accounts to get the money out, live on that, and then when we're 67 or 70 years old, everything else will support us. Is that kind of the game plan?
I think the exact game plan is to be discussed. But yeah, in principle, I mean,
Yeah.
at 55, I'm in my 55th year, so I could even access the 401k, rule of 55.
Yep.
Just sequencing it, and we have a fair amount of cash that we are basically trying to use as a runway in case the market goes down. So yeah, I guess pretty much
Yeah.
we'll.
And there is zero income, or hey, I'll do something. I'm a tech guy who's burnt out, but I certainly can do something, or zero income.
I think I'm not uninclined to work. I just want to figure out if we have to.
Mark Talercio, you're listening to all of this. And besides chiming in with what I'll say, which is they're so young, how could they stop working? What do you think about Sonia and Michael's ability to have to stop without feeling like they had to make money?
They could probably do this, but I also think it's very, very close, especially with the added healthcare expense. If not for that, I would be a bit more confident. It's close. It's probably too close for me.
It would be too close to me. I'll tell you one thing that would make me feel better. I'd sell that rental property and get that $500,000 and get that to work in a different way. Because I don't think that rental property is like $1,500 a month is okay. It's not great on a $500,000 investment. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think of it as it would be great if you could maybe come to a nice place together that you both feel confident about. Now, Sonia, you like what you do. Michael, you don't. So is it possible that we could say like, hey, Michael, let's get this younger kid graduated from high school. Let's just get through that. And then let's come to a place where we're like, okay, between the two of us, we're going to make some amount of money. Or maybe one of us, maybe Sonia, maybe you would want to keep working, not for the insurance because you want to. And then potentially after your income goes down, because at this point, Michael, how much do you earn?
Base and bonus together around 390.
I mean, if you're making $500,000 a year together, going from $500,000 to zero is a lot. So it would seem to me that even if you had like 18-month runway, you could say, okay, we're going to like stockpile some money. We're going to make sure that we do what we got to do. But then I think you guys do need to work on this idea about like kind of what's happening in the interim. Like if you're 56, Michael, and Sonia, you're 50 or 51, what's going to make you guys feel happy? I think that if you sell the rental property, that this works a lot better for me because I think having the liquidity is important. But the other big, looming thing is that even if the numbers work, you guys have to feel good about this together. You really do. And so what would be great would be as if you could say, well, what is it that each of us really wants here? Sonia, you might be like, I want to work, but I don't want to work and make $100,000. I'm going to make 50. And Michael, you might say, hey, I'm really happy to work, not doing what I'm doing, but I'll do some part-time stuff. I'll do some consulting stuff and I'll make 50. So now you have $100,000 a year coming in. It could do that for a couple of years. And then it just sort of starts to build a game plan that's workable. But what I'm hearing is when you said you started the conversation with, we're not on the same page, this is not about money. This is about philosophically, how do we view the next 5 years? And I think this is a 5-year thing, because honestly, if you were to work full time for even 3 years, I think that this is a lot easier. And if you presume, and if we do presume that you do sell the rental property after you stop working, because then your tax liability will be different, then we're in really good shape. But I agree with Mark. It's a little close for me because you guys are young and you're going to live a long time, hopefully. So how we get you on the same page is just really talking through, like, what is it that I see myself doing? I think that, Michael, when you say, I want to have the ability to stop working, I think you will have the ability to stop working. But I think the answer is really like, well, what are we doing together here to get to this place? Because I don't think it feels good to kind of go at it alone. You have to both feel like you're on the same page. You feel good. Hey, we're going to keep working till the little ones graduated. Then at that, leading up to that, in the next, 18 months or so, we're both going to look at really what are the options for reducing our workload, having some money coming in for each of us, and just so that we're kind of in the same boat, and then do that for a couple of years, and then boom, you're done. And that's kind of what I would say. Michael, are you mad at me for saying this? Tell me the truth.
No, not at all. No, I think I think you're spot on. I think it's an agreement that Sonia and I have to come to. And I really think we are, if not already, very close to financially independent. And so, this is, again, this is mostly what I'm trying to get out of this is, some advice from you of how we get there.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel okay selling the rental property, or is that like, oh, I love that thing? Well, how do you feel about that?
I personally am emotionally attached, I suppose, to the rental, and I was hoping that maybe down the road our kids could have it.
Oh, come on, damn kids. Good Lord. Yeah. Mark, what am I to do with this? Yeah. What am I to do with this?
You're not a parent, Jill.
I know, but come on. How much more kids are not going to come out of school with anyway. It's better for the kids and your lives for you to have liquidity than to have a piece of property to pass down. What about the $900,000 house? That's not enough for them?
Yeah, I guess it is. But I wanted to say that I agree with you. Like, that's how I felt initially. Like, I think it will be best for both of us to keep working somehow, like even if it's like very part-time.
Yeah.
I'll feel way more comfortable with that. That will cover at least health insurance and a little bit more. To me, that sounds like a more...
Yeah, because even if you just both were working enough to cover like extra health insurance and have a few bucks left over, that's great. You're still in a low tax bracket. You can still either sell the rental or, kind of rejigger, or even think about pulling money out of your retirement account, being in a low tax bracket. To me, having liquidity, access to your money, whether it's the rental property, selling RSUs, having that money diversified, working, and available is key to you guys feeling more secure in the future.
Yep.
Sounds good?
Sounds
Couldn't
good.
agree more. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, take a deep breath. I feel like you can cancel the marriage counseling session. I feel like we've gotten to a place. Do you guys have your estate documents done? Everything good? Tidy up?
I think we need them reviewed, but we do have estate documents, which we
Great.
need to
Perfect. All right. Get back in touch with us. I really want to know how this story ends. Looking for some guidance? Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we are answering your financial questions. If you've got one, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. While you're there, check out our subscription service. It's called Jill on Money Live. That's where you have access to quarterly live webinars, the back catalog of those webinars, bonus audio and video content, all for $45 for the next 12 months. Our next webinar will be in June on the 17th with Social Security expert Heather Schreiber. You won't want to miss this one. Right now, let's talk to Amber, who joins us from Texas. Hello, Amber. What's going on?
Hi, Jill. I have a question about can I quit my job because my husband believes that with his income alone, we would be okay with retirement.
The answer is yes. Let's move on, Mark. Do we have another? Okay, just
Bye-bye.
kidding. Bye. Okay, fine. Amber, how old are you?
38.
How old is your husband?
40.
Okay. And you have kids?
No kids.
No kids. So really, can I quit? Can we survive? Can we absorb everything? Do you want to quit? Do you hate your job? I mean, isn't that sort of an important place to start?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it's an important place to start, or yes, I hate my job.
Yes, I am not enjoying my job anymore.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And is it just the job, or, I mean, you want to quit and then find something else, or do you want to quit and like, oh, I'm done. I'm 38. I can retire?
I know I can't actually retire at 38. I would like to have maybe a long gap of figuring something else out or going back to school. Who knows? But
Okay. Just like you're
I-
bummed out, it's not working for you. Let's try to figure out a solution. So, how much does your husband earn,
$81,000 a year,
and how much are you earning right now?
about $84,000 a year.
So pretty close. Okay. Well, let's talk about what you guys have saved up to be able to potentially make this transition. So, are you both using a retirement plan?
Yes.
What have you saved up, Amber, in your retirement?
I have $78,000 in my work retirement plan.
Mm-hmm.
About $5,000 of that is Roth.
Any other assets that you have
Yes.
saved up?
I have a Roth IRA, about $120,000.
Great. Okay. What else?
So that's my retirement assets.
Yep.
We have
What about his?
His retirement assets, he has in his pre-tax work, $95,000. And then in his Roth IRA, $84,000.
Okay. And a brokerage or not?
We have a brokerage of about $240,000.
Yowza. That's nice. How did you save so much?
We sold a house and then haven't really bought a second house.
I see. So you're renting right now?
Yes,
How much is your rent?
very low,
How low?
like $500 a month. We
Stop
rent from
it.
a family
How is-
member.
Oh, okay. Okay. And is that sustainable, or do you think you might have to tap the brokerage account to buy stuff?
Eventually, we're going to buy a house, but we've got maybe a year or two, and this is working out really well.
Okay. So then, I mean, all that money in the brokerage account, if you wanted to, Amber, if you wanted to take some portion of that and say, okay, I'm going to pay for graduate school, or I'm going to take a break, or I'm going to find something else, you guys would be willing to do that?
Yes,
Okay. That's huge. How much
It's
do you
huge.
guys spend right now in terms of, I mean, I know the rent's so cheap, but like, how about everything all told with rent?
about $5,000 a month.
And neither of you would be entitled to a pension down the line, right?
There are so many pensions. My husband has a pension at 62. I have if I quit my job, a small pension at 62.
Okay. But that's just the two of those two pensions. And your husband's pension at age 62, what is that figure today? Is it for this job or something previous to this job?
For this job, anticipating he works until like 60, I believe, or 62.
And how much would that be? Do you know?
$3,450 or so.
So. I like that. All right. So that's a huge help, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And now before you were renting at $500 a month, I'm just trying to sort of factor in, like, even if you did a couple of years here, in the future, if you were to buy a house, number one, how much of that 240 do you think we'd need to tap? And number two, like how much do you think it costs to kind of live your lifestyle with a house? Because you've done it before. So I'm just wondering what that would be like.
I'm not quite sure. When we had our house, we had a really great mortgage, and it was in a perfect time of like 2% rates. And it was like maybe an extra $2,000 of a mortgage.
Okay, so then it was like $7,000, and now if you had to do it and buy in, and prices are up and mortgage rates are higher, it'd probably be more like, I don't know, let's call it $9,000 or $10,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Doesn't mean you can't. And also, by the way, a huge help of this process looking ahead is saying, hey, we are going to have this pension. I mean, that's a real number, right? And that future pension can help defray some of the pressure you might feel around, like, well, what if I'm not putting money in retirement? And what if I'm not on track? And what if I take a step back in income? Like, all those things can be a load on you emotionally, but maybe in reality, because we have that future pension, maybe you can do this. And what about family? Do you think you might have to take care of parents, aging parents, bust out siblings who you love, but just you're going to have to help out, or anything like that?
No, I think we're more likely to inherit something on my husband's side, but nothing for.
Okay. So let's say that you took off, let's say you quit today, all right? And you took off 2 years, right? Do you think you'd want to take a chunk of this money and go back to school? Or do you think you just want to take your time and find something different to do?
I would want to find something different find something different.
Okay. All right. I mean, look, he's making 84 grand. And how much is he putting into retirement right now? What percentage?
He's doing like 25%. It's he's aggressively saving. But if I quit my job, he's telling me, this is his calculations, that if we just put in like $12,000, so that's like 15%, we would be okay to go to retirement at 62 with enough to retire about $2 million.
We'll get back to Amber in just a moment. If you've got a question, a concern, trying to make a big decision, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We will be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we try to take the mystery out of your financial life. If you've got a mystery brewing, well, just give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Right now, let's get back to Amber from Texas. Let's say he just says, I'm going to 15% for the next couple of years. Let's take this as a 2-year project. That you definitely can do. He is right that, like, there's no doubt if he just pulls back and says, okay, let me go to 15% or even 10% just for a couple of years. Because, Amber, I think just listening to you and hearing you, I just don't hear in your voice that you are somebody who will make $0 for the rest of her life. I just don't hear that. Am I right?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. So in that case, like, we're not talking about a forever thing. He is right. Like, you can pull back. You can take, and even if you said, all right, you don't have to live like monks. You can say, we're going to go back to where he'll pull back to 15%. You take some of the money from the brokerage. How much money do you have, like, in the bank? Savings, emergency savings? What do you have going on there?
About $60,000.
All right. So even if you said, all right, we're just going to take 20 grand out of our emergency reserves, we'll make sure we have that. We can still live our lives. I think the answer to the question is, can I quit? The answer is sure. But the next step is, can you quit forever living exactly how you want? Not so sure, because here are the variables. The variables are that you do this for 2 years, you do the rent thing for $500 a month for the next couple of years, and then you're like, you know what? I want my own place. Love living like this way, but we want our own place. Then you're going to want cash flow, and you're going to maybe have a larger lifestyle because of that. In which case, then, so you go back to work and you figured it out. I mean, again, if today I said, what are you going to do with yourself? And you say, I don't know. I'm thinking about this, that, and the other thing. Well, if you worked part-time and you just did something kind of even just for fun, my guess is that you could probably bring in 30 or 40 grand. And you know what? That would be fine. If that's all you made going forward, if you said, oh, I hate my life, I hate my job, guys don't have a huge life. So you're right. But at the point where you may want more, you may want to buy a home, you may want to make different decisions, then you would make changes accordingly. But for today, can you quit? Yeah, I think so. Are you gonna get benefits from his job?
Yes.
Okay. What scares you about this whole thing right now?
It seems like it's always a bad economy.
This one is, but it's kind of like, how miserable are you?
Yeah.
Are
That's
you?
very
Like,
true.
if you're miserable, man, I don't want you to do something when you're so miserable. I really don't. I feel like that's a lot, to say, because you're not stuck in a place where you have to do something. You don't have, in other words, you don't have 5 kids. You don't have $1 million house. You don't have a lifestyle that's crazy. You happen to be in this incredible spot with $500 a month in rent. I know you're relying on family. That's fine. But like, to me, this would be the time to do it, because if you wait longer, then your money starts, your income starts creeping up. Then you're really never going to feel like you can do it. If you're miserable, why not? Why not do it and figure out what you want to do next? And if you feel really uncertain, you can kind of, you can do your job. I presume you're the kind of person who sort of continues to do your job no matter what. So maybe it's like, I'll do my job and I'll start really actively looking. You have to just feel comfortable doing this. But from the financial point of this, I think you got this. You guys are not in a situation where you've taken on a huge lifestyle that you need to support. So I think it's doable. Mark, do you agree with that?
I do. I mean, we're not talking about quitting for the next 25 years. This is more about doing a pivot. And yeah, they have the ability, the flexibility. Thankfully, they have very affordable housing, and that gives them the ability to do this, really.
Exactly. So I say go ahead and do it. I mean, I'm sure that your husband's going to be like, see, I told you. But but that said, even so, just as the spouse, when you want to give somebody permission, it is nice to sort of say, like, I get this is like a hard decision. Even if we can do it financially, it's emotionally a hard decision for someone who now you've probably been working for, 15, 20 years. And now it's like, oh, my God, could I really stop? And the answer is you can stop for a time and figure out what happens next. You can reset from where you are and go in a different direction. And if that means you make less money, good news is I think you can afford that. Again, I'm sure you've heard the show. There are a lot of people out there who are doing some wacky things in their financial lives, taking on tons of obligations. You guys are not in that place. You've done a good job of saving so far. The saving grace here is that, there aren't many families, even couples, that can live on a salary of $84,000. But because your housing costs are low and because you don't do a lot of other stuff, you're in great shape. Give yourself some grace. It is not easy to make these kinds of changes. And I completely get that. And what you need to do is just give yourself the space, and maybe for your husband, if he listens to this episode, that he can sort of say, give you some space to do it and not be, I'm so sick of you complaining all the time. Just quit. Then just be like, I know it's tough. It is hard to make these decisions. These are big life decisions. But luckily, I think you guys are in a place that you can do this. I really do. We're all aboard. And when you find your new job, get back in touch with us and we'll figure out what to do next. How does that sound?
That sounds great, Jill.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, it's so easy. Just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are here trying to help you figure out where you need to go next in your financial life. I know for a lot of you, just thinking about that question causes concern or anxiety, but you're not alone. Both Mark and I are certified financial planners, and we love talking to you about whatever is going on. And sometimes when we're talking to you, different issues will arise, and that's okay. We just want to lay out the options or maybe help you prioritize. And I think that that's a conversation that we love having mostly with you on the air. But of course, we always are happy to answer your emails as well. If you've got a question, if you've got a concern, if you're just trying to make a decision and don't know how to start, go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note. And if you'd like to join us on the program live, check the box. Mark will arrange to get you on the show, and we'll make it really easy. Before we finish up this hour, let's go to an email. This is from Kyle, who writes, I'm retired and self-manage my investments. My current financial advisor has moved to an asset under management model. It seems like a lot of financial advisors want this AUM model, but I'm specifically looking for a fee-only fiduciary advisor. Do large investment companies like Fidelity provide that fiduciary level of care, or should I be looking elsewhere for independent advice? How else can I find a fee-only fiduciary? Well, Kyle, the best place to look is an organization called NAPFA, the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors. The acronym is NAPFA, and you can find their website at napfa.org. These folks are all fee-only fiduciaries. You plug in your zip code and you might find one close to you, or maybe just peruse what offerings there are and see what sticks. Talk to a few of them, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you need help finding an advisor, or maybe trying to figure out whether you need the one you got, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we are trying to help you make better, sometimes just less bad financial decisions. If something's going on in your life, maybe you're thinking about buying or selling a home, maybe you're thinking about your own retirement, maybe you're trying to figure out how to fund your college education, maybe you're trying to figure out how to pay for the college that your kid just got into. Whatever's going on for you, all you need to do is go to our website. That is JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, which is always in the upper right-hand corner of the website. And if you'd like to come on the air live, all you need to do is check the box, and Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, our subscription service, Jill on Money Live, it is hopping. This is a service where for $45, you have access to quarterly live webinars, the back catalog of those webinars, bonus audio and video content, all for $45 for the next 12 months. Now, our upcoming webinar is with the Queen of Social Security, Heather Schreiber. It's going to be a deep dive in Social Security, Wednesday, June 17th, only for those who are subscribers to Jill on Money Live. So go ahead and subscribe. Right now, let's talk to Dave from Connecticut. Hello, Dave. Dave, I understand that it's going to be 70 degrees here in the Northeast. Are you ready for that?
So ready after all these snowstorms.
Oh, God. You must have gotten a big dump after that last one, the blizzard. What'd you get?
Oh, man, at least, I want to say 20 inches, 24.
That's a real number, for real.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, what brings you to us? Snow removal or something else?
So figured me and my partner, we love the show. We listen in, and I think right now with where we are in life, we're thinking of downshifting. Ideally, we've been saving up for, fire, but respect both you and Mark's opinion on this and just wanted to get a gut check as to whether or not it's feasible.
Well, tell us about you and your partner and your family and what's going on. So how old are you?
I am 40 years old, and
Okay.
my partner is 36.
Okay. Are you both working full time?
Yes. Although they are planning to downshift into part-time soon.
Dude, I love that little pronoun shift. You're like, I got to protect the anonymity of the partner. Okay. So tell us about how much you guys earn.
So my compensation is pretty variable. Depending on the year, I've made $275K a year, upwards of over 400. So it's pretty variable. They make approximately 50K right now and would be downshifting to part-time work, which would probably pull in around 30.
Okay. And if you were to really hone in on that 275 to 400 range, if you were to downshift, what do you think you could downshift to reliably?
I would say at the very least, if I prioritize something that was more local, I would say something at least 80,000 a year.
Okay. And do you guys have kids or not?
No kids, just
Okay.
2 cats.
Oh, all right. Do you think you guys could live on this let's call it 100 grand a year? Could you live on that or not?
Yeah, and I think we could actually, we've got 20K that we could flex down on, all said and done. So we live pretty below our means.
Okay. Well, what do you think you spend right now on this big chunk? You know, obviously, let's just say that you make between the two of you 350-ish, because that's probably right. Okay. What do you think you spend?
About 90K.
A year. Wow. Okay. So tell us about your savings and see if we can figure out whether the downshift possible.
So right now I max my 401k. I do mega backdoor. I do Roth conversion as well as an HSA.
Oh my God, you are saving a ton. So how much is are you doing, Roth or traditional?
So I do pre-tax just because I'm in a higher tax bracket. And then my employer matches 50% of that.
How much is in traditional assets right now?
So in my 401k, traditional, 550K.
Okay. What else?
In Roth, I've got 207K.
Okay.
And then my partner, they have a 403B that has a pre-tax sum of 28K. And then in the HSA, we've got 68K. And then we do have like separate non-employer Roth IRAs that total 170K.
Together?
Yes.
Okay, got you. When you look at your cash flow now, obviously, you know, you're saving all this money. Do you also have extra money to then put into a brokerage account? Because, I mean, I know you're saving a lot in retirement. Is there any non-retirement savings that you've done?
Yeah. So we have a total amount of, between the two of us, 1.345 million.
Mark, can I have that little giggle? You know, it's the Mark giggle. It's the Talercio tee-hee. 1.345 million. Wow. Holy smokes. Do you guys own a home together?
No, we recently sold, so all of that was put into the brokerage account.
And why'd you sell? Just out of curiosity.
I think we just wanted to be closer to family, friends. So we moved to this new location. It's lower maintenance, less stress. Renting can be fun like that.
It's so great. Do you need to access some portion of that brokerage to buy again, or do you think renting is for you?
I think renting is for us.
Excellent. What's the rent, by the way, in wherever you live, Connecticut?
Quite a bit, 40 a year.
40 grand? Well, that's not that much. I mean, 40
compared
grand.
to New York City, Jill, right?
Yeah. I know. No. I totally get that. I'm just saying that, like, I know where he lives. He doesn't live right next to New York City, but it's like, it's close-ish. So $3,300 a month is not so terrible to me. And do you like it? Do you like where you live, or would you like to spend more? Like, what do you think?
I think it's perfect. We love where we are.
All right, great. This is an amazing story. What is the timeline for you?
I think just because of the job market and the precarity of employment these days, I really want to get a sense of, if my partner is working part-time, what would I have to, like, let's say I wanted to really flex into something that just doesn't pay as much, right? But I'm really passionate about. I guess I want to assume that I would be earning nothing.
0? You just told me 80. How did I go from 80 to 0? Come on.
So I think if I lost my job, I would be able to find another full-time job making at least 80, right? Okay. But I think that, like, let's say I wanted to break out on my own and do freelance, or I wanted to pursue, a pet project like animal rehabilitation. Like at that point, those pursuits don't really compensate much. And so I guess if I wanted to indulge in something like that, I would want to know that we're financially okay. But if I had to tough it out for a number of years doing what I've specialized in, I want to get a sense of like, when would we be okay in that regard, right? Like at what amount am I good to go?
We'll get back to Dave in just a minute. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show. If you've got a question, go to jillonmoney.com. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's Jill on Money, where we're trying to answer your financial questions. If you've got one, just go to jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Let's get back to Dave from Connecticut. So it's almost like there are a couple of different ideas here. One would be like continue with this variable but very high income that is demanding, do it for X many more years, and then be able to go to zero, right?
Yeah.
Presuming that your partner is going to 25 grand, right? And just so I understand, when you say the expenses at 90 grand a year, would that include getting your own health insurance, or would it be more than that? Should we add more into this equation just to make sure that we've covered your health insurance?
We would have to add more. I think when I looked at the marketplace, it would still be subsidized technically, but sure. I budgeted 10 grand on top of the 90 to.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, so that seems good. And, even if we instead of 8, let's say 9 grand a month, that would seem to be a decent way to figure it out. Yeah. Okay. So is your partner entitled to any pension? Only because you mentioned a 403B. So is there a pension possibility or no?
No pension, unfortunately.
Okay. If I gave you the choice of, okay, you could work longer for some group of years, or you could work part-time immediately, but you have to work. You can't you got to make 50 or 80 grand a year. Let's say 80. Yeah. Which one seems more appealing to you? To have the wow, I don't have to do anything, or I don't have to do this right now, and I could do 80 for a while. What do you think sounds more appealing?
I think it depends on the timeline. Like if you told me I had to keep working my current job for 10 years, I think I would struggle with that. If you told me 3 to 5, I could definitely do that. I enjoy the work. I enjoy helping people. So I think it just depends on the time horizon.
And I presume you have no debt, right?
Correct. No
Besides
debt.
Those 2 cats, which will, they'll be into you for a while. Okay. So, Mark, what do you think about Dave and his partner's quest for another endeavor? Not even retire early. It is there. You guys are really talking about we've worked hard. We're good, 15, 20 years out. And now we really want to just do something different and more enjoyable. And they've saved like crazy. I mean, crazy, except that you're so young. So what do you think, Mark? Do you think that how many more years of full-time work? What if we did, oh my God, poor guy. What if we made him work 5 more years? And you're saving so much, like you are saving basically like 100 grand a year at least, right?
Yes. Yep.
So 100 grand a year. You're one of those weird cases where you're going to go down in tax bracket. So I'm not so freaked out about your whole, your pathway forward in terms of Roth versus traditional. Mark, how many more years of saving $100,000 a year, considering how much they've already saved, which is a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I have like two schools of thought. One is he basically just told us he's fine working another 5 years. He enjoys the job. He doesn't hate it. He's not miserable. So if he did that for another 5 years, saving $100,000 a year, I'm sure he knows this. They're going to have at least $3.5 million. On the other hand, if he wanted to quit today and, take 6 months to recharge, but then find something else part-time for $80,000, $100,000 a year, he could do that too because they have that brokerage account.
Right. This is the thing that you've done. You've bought yourself some opportunity. So I think what's interesting here is I'm not going to tell you it's a slam dunk just because you're so freaking young, right? So if you did this for 5 years and you had $3.5 million in the bank, it's all well and good, and maybe you'll probably make something between the two of you. You make a little bit of money, but I don't think there's going to be like a huge problem. You can live on your brokerage account. You can, start pulling money out of your traditional account. I think it actually probably does work because we probably could pull 3.5–4% a year out of your brokerage account. You would deplete it over time, right? But you would deplete it from, let's say, age 45 to age 55, 59. It would go away, mostly, not all. Then you would start pulling out of your traditional accounts, live on that. Then you'd have Social Security. So you can see how it works. Yeah. It really, to me, feels more like what you need to do is go out there and find what would be available to you as a part-time or next or new endeavor. Because if you find that, like, not the pet project so much, but like, what if you could get a job that you liked and you're into and it's not as much travel and you are downscaling a little bit, but that you can find a thing that would make you happy at 80, 90, 100 grand, your partner's making 25, and now you guys are supporting yourselves, living a nicer life, maybe a little bit less stress, and having a lot more runway in the future because you're not tapping out of your assets. So I don't know. It really depends on your personalities. A lot of people get freaked out about spending down.
Or keep doing what you're doing for 5 years. And in my mind, it's pretty close to being a layup.
Okay.
Well, I would say it's in the paint. I don't know if it's a layup, but
it's
yes,
close.
It's only just because it's
given how much they save.
Yeah, but they're so young. So, if they're 45 and they live to 95, 50 years of retirement's a lot.
It's that unpredictability over that longer time horizon, right?
Yes, exactly right. I don't know. I think that it depends also about like how you guys come to this, how you are approaching this together, how much, I don't know if what you do right now is so taxing, by the way, at age 40. This is when you're supposed to be taxed. But, that if you just are like, I'm dying inside, but it doesn't sound like that, which is sort of weird to me that we're having this conversation.
I think the issue is that living where I live, the commute is quite a bear. So to do that every week, it means that anything that I could do during the week in terms of social life and everything isn't there. So really the work week is for work and the weekends are for relaxation. And so that sacrifice is tough.
Oh,
social stuff is overrated.
Yeah, it is. Why don't you know what? Get another cat. You'll be fine. You won't miss anything. This is really one of those things that I don't have the I hear what you are saying, and I think people who travel a lot or have long commutes. I was just in the car going to this wedding in New Jersey that was like in the middle of freaking nowhere, New Jersey. And my wife said to me, so-and-so commutes from here every day. I am not kidding. It must be 4 hours in the car every day. I would kill myself. Yeah. So if that were the kind of thing that you were like encountering, I don't think I could do that. And we know people have really long commutes all over the country. To me, like, that's life, and I couldn't live like that. So if you're feeling that way, then I understand it quite a bit more. But I think that is there any chance, by the way, that you guys are going to get married? You're going to make honest people out of each other, or do you not care?
I think we are. Like, we're very committed to each other. We look at our finances together. We have an estate plan. We bought a house.
Okay,
so
good.
I think our lives are very much integrated, and so it is kind of like that final step.
All right. I think you're going to be okay either way, but I do think it's important for you to get a sense of really what else is out there so that you have a truer way to compare what you're doing now for 3 or 5 years. And look, if things go crazy and the economy's fantastic and 3 years from now we're talking to you and like the numbers are really working and you can kind of start winding down or pulling some money out or getting some runway for a couple of years of living expenses in advance, and things are just way better than you had anticipated. You made $400 a year, so you didn't save $100, you saved $150, whatever it is. We can revisit this in 3 years. Or if it's like, oh man, I just like sent out a note to my LinkedIn network and someone came back to me and I can make 120 grand a year and something that sounds really great and close, and I'd like to try that. That's also a good option. I mean, it's so wonderful that you and your partner have created these options for yourselves. And that to me is incredible. You have done that. So, I mean, kudos to you. We'll look forward to hearing more from you. I really think there is some really terrific opportunities for you ahead. If you've got a question, go to JillOnMoney.com.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back to Jill on Money. Here's an email from Terry. Hi, Jill and Mark. My husband and I are wondering what our strategy should be for college savings. We've got 2 kids, ages 2 and 4. We meet our own retirement savings goals, and we've been lucky enough to save a lot for our kids in a 529 account. $158,000 for the 4-year-old and $135,000 for the 2-year-old. Wow, Mark. Okay. They want to pay for public university for them. Public schools in our state are still quite expensive. The current range is around 40 to 55 grand annually. We're comfortable with keeping their 529 invested in equities until they're ready to enter high school. We'll transition to a more balanced investment plan at that time. I'd love to be able to say we're done saving for them, but with college costs rising each year, I'm not sure. WWMD, what would Mark do? Well, let me bring Mark onto the program and ask Mark. It sounds like retirement is done. They didn't tell us how old they are, but they've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, just a chunk of money already, almost 300 grand. What do you think, Mark? Keep putting money in the 529 or ease up?
I would probably ease up. I mean, by the time each of these kids is 18, they're going to have well over $300,000 each. And if they're talking about a public, I don't know if it's in-state, out-of-state, who knows? It's a long ways to go. But if you're saving this much for college, I'm guessing you guys are saving a lot for yourselves. So if there's any shortfall, you're probably going to be able to cover it.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't ask me what I would do, but I would ease up a little bit and see where they stand. Like you can kind of ease up, or maybe you can say like, all right, we have cash flow right now. Let's do it for a couple more years. But like by the time that 4-year-old is, first grade, I don't know, you probably can let this roll a little bit. That's just my 2 cents. Or like super duper fund it for like 3 more years and then look at the numbers and build out the tuition planning and see where you stand.
One other thing that I would do, I wouldn't wait until high school to start peeling back some of the risk. Once those kids turn 12 years old, that's when I would start peeling off some of the risk.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Good idea, man. Okay. Anne says, I would love to get your opinion on whether Roth contributions or conversions make sense for me now or in the future. Okay. I am a 54-year-old woman, single parent to a child. I live in California. High taxes. Okay. Cash flowing the kids' college right now. Net worth, $3 million. A small condo makes up about a third of that. Retirement and other investments are the remainder. 60 grand in a Roth, 1.5 in a traditional 401k, 340 grand in company stock. Yowza. Okay. About 5 years ago, in anticipation of my child going to college, I went from working part-time to full-time and became an owner in my company. As a result, my income has ramped up significantly year over year for the past 5 years and should continue to rise. I've used this income to help my parents and to pay off all of my debt except my mortgage. All right. In terms of spend, basic fixed expenses around $8,000 a month. But when I add in the extras, it's $11,000 a month. AGI, listen to this, Mark. My adjusted gross income has gone from $350 to $770 over the past 4 years, doubling, more than doubling. And she thinks it's going to rise to more than $1 million in the next few years. It's a highly stressful job, long hours. Well, what do you think? It's not going to be stressful making $1 million a year? Come on. And she hopes to scale back when her kid graduates in 2028. And I'd like to go back to earning, say, around $350,000. Hope to retire no later than 2033. Okay. Now, each year, about $100,000 goes to my company-sponsored retirement and related accounts, 401ks, company match, HSA, cash balance plan. And this year, I'm going to put $100,000 or so into a brokerage account, and each year I use a backdoor Roth. Okay. So you ready for your 2 questions? Here we go. I don't see any case to be made for contributing to a Roth 401k right now due to my income levels and state and federal tax rate. Also, I can do an in-plan 401k Roth conversion, but I don't have the free cash and it doesn't seem to make sense from a tax perspective. I also believe I will be in a lower tax bracket when I retire. That's interesting. All right. So do you agree? Is there a case to make the 401k Roth or do an in-plan conversion? Well, I certainly wouldn't do an in-plan conversion right now. So let's just see. What does she have? She has $340,000 that is in company shares. She's going to start putting $100,000 a year into a brokerage account. So right this minute, she is in the 37% bracket. She will go down to 35%, Mark. So you want to make your case for her to do a Roth 401k right now or not?
Well, I mean, I can just tell you that I do, same tax bracket. In terms of doing conversions, I mean, if she knows her income is going to go down in a few years, obviously I would probably wait until then.
Yeah, because I think that, okay, let's say the reason why you would do more Roth right now is that even with what you're doing, you have this money that's already in traditional, that $1.5 million. And so what I think the case that Mark would make is that's already going to grow. And it's like 20 years of growth. Remember, you're not taking money out of that 401k till you're 75. And yes, you could convert later, but the dollars are going to keep growing. I don't think it's like a moral imperative for you to do a Roth right now, especially if, we're really just talking about a few years because, yeah, you remember, Mark, it's now 2026. So it's just 2 years before she goes down into a tax bracket that is more like 35% as the top bracket.
She thinks.
But I mean, I can live with that. So the question then is, would it be advisable to start contributing to a Roth in 29? Yeah, that's when I think. But I don't know if you have to. I would just contribute to a Roth and I wouldn't necessarily do the conversions until you kind of see where you land. I feel like there's a lot of unknowns with this plan. $350 to $770. You didn't expect $770. You're going to go to $1 million. And I don't know, maybe you land somewhere lower than that. Who knows? I think that what you're going to have is by the time you're 60-ish, we're going to be able to have 15 years where maybe you're not working, or that's when I think we could start to do some in-plan conversions. I wouldn't necessarily do it while I'm in my 50s because who knows what this kid's going to do? Maybe the kid's going to go to grad school. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back to the Jill on Money Show. We are answering financial questions, maybe even helping you understand some of the options that are in front of you. If you need some assistance, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Right now, let's answer an email. This is from Lois. Lois says that I was talking about the economy, and I said the money you need in the next year should be in cash. My children's college funds are in a 529. We can't withdraw $529 without penalty unless for education. Are you saying with the 529 a portion should be invested in cash? What I'm saying is in your 529 plan, if you need money that is actually necessary to write a check for your tuition check within 12 months, that part of the 529 account should be not at risk. A lot of 529 plans do that automatically. But if you're managing it yourself, your tuition that you need within 12 months should be in the money market account inside the 529 plan. That's very important. I'm presuming that's how most of them work, right, Mark? That like when they do the age-based plans that they leave you a slug of money available to pay tuition?
I don't think so because, it's just inside a target date fund. So the fund itself will get more and more conservative, but they don't lop off a chunk and put it in cash.
But wouldn't you do that? Like if you knew you had to pay?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. So put that part in the money market inside the 529. Melissa lost her husband last year and she's been working through their finances. And she said, my portfolio is heavily weighted in the company stock that he purchased through payroll deduction and that he received as options as part of his benefit package. I've been talking to an advisor, but I am hesitant to commit to a dedicated advisor relationship. What are your thoughts on dedicated advisors versus investment teams or even self-directed investing? Look, I like an advisor for someone who is doing financial planning. If you're talking about just trying to work through this one-time issue of what to do with reallocating your portfolio, maybe one thing to do is to hire the advisor for a year while you do that and see how you can do. Maybe you can do it on your own. If you're hesitant to commit because you don't want to pay the money, then you'll do it on your own and get back in touch with us and we can probably help you out. Okay, Vanessa writes, how off or on the mark are we? Hello, I love the podcast. Okay, I'd love your feedback. On one hand, I think we save a lot, but we also make a lot. So maybe we spend a lot. Probably true. Sometimes it seems like we're on track. Other times it feels like we're behind, considering how much money we make. I know understanding how much you need annually in retirement is the key to knowing how much to save. And that is the part we have a hard time accurately or realistically calculating. Okay, here's the fact. Vanessa's got a great paying corporate job. She goes, I want to retire at age 55 or 56 and then would work part-time for 5 to 7 years. I'd really like the option not to. I mean, seems like a pretty common refrain, Mark. But she says, I think I'll probably need to do something so I don't dip into savings. So she's 49. Her husband is 50. They've got 2 kids. One's in college. The other starts next year. Their tuition amounts are covered from 529s. They've got $1.4 million in her 401k, $100,000 in an old 401k, $500,000 in a brokerage, $150,000 combo of rollover Roth and IRA. We also have $175,000 that's an emergency reserve fund. We own a home; it's worth $800,000. They owe $190,000 with a mortgage rate of 3%. She says, right now I'm maxing out my 401k and we are putting $100,000 in an investment account annually. I think we could probably bump that up by about $25,000. My base salary is $315,000 with a bonus that is usually equal to that. So she's making $600,000, let's say $600,000. Husband is self-employed. He makes $75,000 to $100,000. He inherited some land. It will never be sold. Okay, so we're not going to care about that. A conservative estimate of what he has inherited is that it would be generating $40,000 a year annually. Could be more. Okay. Can I retire at 55? Would I still need to work part-time? I know you're going to ask how much we need each month. I think we spend, wait for it, $20,000 a month right now. $20,000 a month, Mark, and they're not going to make it. I can tell you that right now. I can just zip through this very quickly. You spend more money than you can generate from your savings. So
unless this farmland really, really generates some
income.
If
she says that the farmland conservatively would generate $40,000, 75, even 75. So let's say 75 is realistic. So what? You're spending $20,000 a month, $250,000 a year after tax is what they're spending. There's no way that works. Sorry to be blunt about it, Vanessa. I think we could make it work with you saving a little bit more and then really looking at trying to tighten up what you're spending, because maybe at 150 grand a year that income comes in, maybe they can make it. But based on what the facts are, I don't think they make it. So you've done a good job of saving and you spend a lot of money. And let's see where you are in a few years. Let's try to time test this. Like, why don't you get back in touch with us for, every couple of years, and we'll see what you've accumulated, and we'll see what that farmland really generates. And then we see what the spend is, once the kids are done with college. Maybe it'll work later, but not right now. I don't think so. Cynthia writes that she has a brokerage account with a well-known company. She's paying 1%, wants to know if she's paying too much in fees. I don't know. What are these people doing? I mean, for a brokerage account, you're paying for money management and they're not doing any financial planning, then I think it's too much. But if they're giving you financial planning, maybe, I have to know more about you and what they're giving you. If you've got a question or concern or just need a little bit of a nudge or maybe a boost, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Jill on Money Show, where Mark and I, who are both certified financial planners, where we just want to be Sherpas on your financial journey. We want to take the emotional weight off your shoulders and help you out. If you've got a question, a concern, an issue, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly email. It comes out on Fridays, and it's such a good warm-up for this program. And by the way, if you miss any part of this program, under the radio tab at JillOnMoney.com, you can listen to it, so you can check that out. Just bookmark JillOnMoney.com. That's where everything that we put out there lives. Okay, let us get to an email. This is from Dan, who writes, I have $73,000 from my required minimum distribution to spend this year. My wife and I have grandchildren who will be starting college this fall. May we use this money to pay for their college expenses and take it as a charitable contribution? We normally take the standard deduction. Can we combine this and other charitable deductions to further reduce our taxable income? Well, Dan, the answer is no. A required minimum distribution has to come directly to you, and you have to pay tax at whatever your tax bracket is at the time. If you want to help the grandchildren pay for college, I'm sorry to say that's not a charitable contribution. If you want to avoid paying tax on an RMD, you might consider something called a qualified charitable distribution. That's where money goes directly from your retirement account to a qualified charity. It bypasses you. If that's the case, you probably aren't going to be able to pay for college, but you certainly can help a charity out and not pay tax on the distribution. I hope that helps. Well, gosh, hasn't this show gone by so quickly? If you've got a question or the show kind of conjures up a different kind of conversation that you'd like us to explore, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Don't forget to check the box if you'd like to join us live. Mark will do everything else. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Delarcio is our executive producer and king of all things web. And we always ask that you try to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.